In this video, I will be showing you GstarCAD, an affordable CAD software that offers compatibility with AutoCAD, performance advantages, BIM capabilities, and powerful APIs, and most importantly, affordable pricing and perpetual license. This tutorial will be a demo of just some of the innovative tools available in GstarCAD 2025. We will cover Symmetrical Draw, Autolayer that automates layer selection, Scale Region, perfect for detailing work, Revit and IFC import, export, and management, dynamic blocks, and a host of additional tools like Dimension Update, Area Table, Rapid Dist, Layer Viewport, and QR Code Generator. If you're interested in trying out GstarCAD, click on the link in the cards above for a free trial, or below in the description where you can find free trial, more info, and user guides. And full disclosure, this is a sponsored video. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into GstarCAD 2025. And here we are in GstarCAD 2025. First feature that I would like to show you is going to be Draw Symmetrical. So this feature is located down here on the bottom. So we have Enable Symmetrical Draw. Now this is useful in many situations. Here I have a situation where I have this roof drain detail that I need to draw, and it doesn't really make sense for me to do one side then the other. Also, if I tried to do first to draw it then to mirror, that just adds an additional step. So with enabling this feature, it's going to allow me to just draw one side and then it's going to simply mirror that automatically. So to enable this, I'm just going to go down here to Enable Symmetric Draw, right click, and then go to Settings. This is going to open up the Settings menu, and here I can pick one of the axes, or I can just go with pick axis and then select one on the screen. Just like that. So we have custom, and then here we have the supported objects, so what will be drawn symmetrically, and here I just want to check all of these. So I'm just going to check all of them, click OK. There we go. Now we can start drawing. Now before we start, we do need to make sure that this is enabled. So you click on it, as you can see it gets into this darker display, so now it's enabled. Now we can get started. So to get started, let's zoom in a little bit on our roof drain detail, just like that. Then I'm going to go here to the draw panel, and then let's go to polyline and let's pick rectangle to begin. And now what you'll see is as soon as I complete this first rectangle, as soon as I click here, it's going to create another one on the other side, perfectly symmetrical around this line. Then we can continue. So let's do another one, let's say for this element here, just like that. It's going to mirror it on the other side. Then I can continue. So for example, for this segment here, I can switch to polyline, and then I can go from here just like that, kind of outlining this whole segment. As you can see, it's mirroring everything, or drawing symmetrical on the other side here. Then I can create this part just like that, then go down here, in this case go all the way down up to here, just like that, perhaps connect it here. Yeah, there we go, perfect. So now I can simply continue drawing, and obviously I'm going to get symmetrical drawings on the other side. So if I just finish this segment here and hit the escape key, there we go. So everything that I'm doing on one side is happening on the other side. And let's say I'm done, I'm happy with the way that this turned out, I can simply go down here and click again on Enable Symmetrical Draw, and now this feature has been turned off. So in the future, if I add any lines, so if I add, I don't know, a line here, just like that, hit the escape key a couple of times, as you can see it only appears there. It's not going to be drawn symmetrically on the other side because we have toggled this off. Moving forward, let's explore another really powerful tool, which is Autolayer. So Autolayer is located down here, and we can enable it. Also, I can right click and then go to settings, and here we can basically customize our auto layer. So what it's going to do is it's going to recognize the command that we use, and it's going to assign a different layer to be used with that particular command. You can customize this however you like. In this case, I'm going to leave this setup as it is, and then I'm going to click OK, and let's test it out. So please notice that here for our layers, we're currently on this line layer, and if I turn on our auto layer or enable it, and then let's place a dimension, I can start from here to here, and as you can see, that dimension is going to be on a different layer. It's on the dimension layer, not on the line layer. If I add any other dimensions like this, again, it's going to be on a different layer. If I choose to add some text, so let's say we want to name this roof drain detail, I can click here and then let's add text. And I'm just going to make it a bit larger, just like that. Okay, so I can basically place that, and as you can see, the layer is going to be text. So it recognized the text command and it assigned this element to that proper layer. And finally, let's create a hatch. So let's search for hatch. There we go. It's going to open up the hatch command. Here I'm just going to select objects. Let's select this one and this one. Hit enter, click OK, and now as you can see, this hatch, it's on the hatch layer again automatically because we have enabled auto layer. And of course, if I disable it and want to add a dimension, what you'll notice is this dimension is now blue, indicating that it's actually on the line layer and not the correct dim layer. Now let's cover the scale region tool. So this is really interesting. It's located over here on the Express tab on the Modify panel. If I open up this drop menu here, you will see the region scale tool. Reg scale is the shortcut. Now I'm just going to select this tool, and first we need to pick basically what we want to scale. So in this case, I want to create kind of a larger detail within a detail, if you will, of this corner here. So I'm just going to zoom in. I'm going to select a little bit outside of this circle, then make sure to encompass it with this rectangle and then click again. And now we need to assign a new position, which I'm just going to move this off to the side and click. And now we also need to scale it. So I want to make it at least 3 times bigger. So I'm just going to type in 3 and hit enter. And this is what we get. Now, of course, with all of the hatches, it's going to be still there. So we do need to delete those. So now to clean this up a bit faster, I'm just going to be using the X trim tool, and then we're just going to select this circle and click outside of that circle. So as you can see, it pretty much cleaned up most of these lines, and then the rest of these we can do manually. Now once we're done, I can select this whole thing just like that. Okay, then go to move and then move it closer to here, just like that. And then perhaps I can add some lines just to kind of indicate what's going on here. Perhaps something like this would look nice. There we go. So there we go. So we have now a detail within our detail, and it was quite easy to create. Now let's talk BIM. After all, this is a BIM or Revit channel. So here in the GstarCAD 2025, we have the BIM tab, and on the BIM tab we have a Revit panel with Open Revit Files button. When we click on this, it's going to open up the Select Files menu. Here we will find the file that we want to open. In this case, let's open up this project 1. So I'm just going to hit open. And now to see it a bit better, I'm going to be using the view cube, and as you can see here we have that model loaded in. And to see it yet again a bit better, let's go to the 3D tab and then find visual styles, and I'm just going to pick hidden line. And there we go. Now we can see our model and we can orbit around. Now I'm just going to bring up the properties panel by typing in properties, hit enter, and here we have that properties panel. So now what you'll notice is if we select any of these elements that have been imported from Revit, under the BIM section we have the type, the building element type, we have the name, so this is the actual family name of this particular wall, then we have the building, so IFC building, story, level 1, composition, and so on. So we get data pulled in from Revit. If I select this door, again you're going to see all of the basic information for that. Oops, let's try something else. So let's try with the roof. So there we don't have much information. Let's try this window, for example, like that. So there we go, we have the family information for that window, and then so on and so forth. So whatever you select, you're going to get data for that particular element. Now, speaking of BIM, apart from importing Revit, we also have the ability to export, and we can export IFC files. So if I click here on Export IFC, I can pick a folder on my computer. Here I can name it, so let's call it Project 1 Windows. Hit Enter, and now we need to select all of the items that we want to export as part of this IFC export. So here I'm just going to select these. So yeah, let's go with Windows. I'm just holding the Control key to add multiple to selection. So there we go. Okay, let's see. Just want to be precise here with the window. Okay, so now I can simply hit Enter, and it's going to export those windows as an IFC file. Now we can also open IFC files. So if I go here to open, I can find the one that I have exported. I can hit open, and here we have elements. So it looks like I've accidentally selected this sofa, so that happened. But yeah, you can also see here in the BIM part of our properties panel, we have data for that IFC element. Now I can delete it if I want to. And keep in mind that for all of these parameters, you can actually change them. So we can change the BIM model that we have inside the GstarCAD. We can make edits to the parameters such as name or description. So anyways, let's go back to our project 1, and now let's explore our structure panel. So we have this option where we can click on the structure panel. It's going to be referring, of course, to our BIM model, in this case this Revit model. So I can expand these nodes, and here we can see what we have. So for example, for the IFC building, we have everything according to levels. So if I expand the walls, here I have all of the walls on level 1. So let me just make this a bit wider. Okay, so here, as you can see, for our building on level 1, we have these walls. So we have these interior walls and these exterior walls. And if I select any of these, as you can see, it's going to start selecting the walls in the model itself. So it's a really great way of kind of looking into the model and seeing what we have there. Now I'm just going to hit the escape key a couple of times. And now for example, if we want to export this whole project as IFC, what I can do is I can simply go into Export IFC Files. Let's call it project1-IFC export and hit Save. Now I can simply select this entire house just like that, hit Enter, and now that was exported. If I go to Open IFC Files, here we have that project1-IFC Open or IFC export, and this is the file that we get. So basically the same file that we have exported. It was a Revit file, now it's an IFC file, and as you can see, everything was done really quickly. Now let's talk about some additional innovative tools within GstarCAD 2025. So for this, let's start here on the Express tab, and here I want to show you for dimensions. If I open this up, what we have is this dimension update. So in this case, I have let's say this new dimension style that I want to use, and I then have this whole entire project dimensioned in a different dimension style that I no longer want to use. So what I can do is I can just go here, click on update or dimension update, click on the new dimension, click on the existing one that I want to change, and automatically it will change them everywhere. So it's a quick way of making a large change. Now let's move on to the area table. So if I open up this area table, here I can specify some of the settings for this area table that I'm creating. So I'm just going to go here for dim number. For text height, I'm going to go with something like 0.7, so make it a bit larger. Then for this area suffix, let's go with let's go with this meters squared. Then let's turn on the create table and associate number, and then here we have the title, the first header, the second header, so this all works perfectly fine. And now to actually utilize this, let's go to pick a point. So we first need to pick a point where we want to place our table, so let's place it there. It's going to create that table, and now as we start picking rooms or areas, it's going to give us the room number and area. So if I click here, there, so basically we're just adding on additional rooms and numbers. I can just hit enter and complete that, and now we have an area table that was created rather quickly. Now, speaking of the dimensions of all of these rooms, we have the area, but to quickly get the dimensions, we can use the rapid dist. So what this does is basically you hover your cursor over any enclosed area like a room, and it's going to give you the dimensions really quickly. So as you can see, wherever I go, it's giving me dimensions instantly, so I can quickly get an idea of how large a specific space is, and I can also compare it to existing dimensions that we have. Now let's talk about the layout viewport. So I'm going to open up the view tab here, and then on model viewports we have the layout viewport. So when I click on that, here we can select the scale. In this case, let's select this one, and then I'm going to set this graphics extends to window. So now what I can do is I can simply click OK. I can grab this entire floor plan, click, and then I can pick out which layout I want to use. Let's go with layout 2, click OK, and here I can simply select the edge of our screen here, and basically we now have this viewport created. And we can also add a QR code here. So what I'm going to do now is just go back to the Home tab. Here we have the block panel, and there we have the QR code or the barcode. So I'm just going to pick QR code, and it's a 2D QR code generator. This is the text input. I'm actually going to add another line here, and let's add Balkan Architect. So I'm going to set this to 0.02 just to make this quite smaller, because we're not working with a large sheet. And then I'm going to hit insert, and there we go. So I can just place it there. So we have our own custom QR code generated and placed on this layout. And for the final feature, let's talk about dynamic blocks. So dynamic blocks give us very versatile blocks inside of GstarCAD 2025, where you can make numerous adjustments. So if I select this block here, you can see that this is a door block. However, instead of just being a fixed block that I would have to exchange if I want something else, here I have multiple actions built in. So for example, I can flip it to the other side just like that. If I click here, it's going to open up multiple options in terms of the sizing, so I can look into that and adjust that. Here you can see we can adjust the size of the door panel swing, and then of course here we can adjust the opening size, and then we also have the ability to align it. If I click here, I can now align blocks to any item that I come close to. Now I'm just going to hit the escape key a couple of times, double click on this block, so that's going to open up the added block definition, and if I click OK, it's going to open up the block editor. So here you can see that first we have a set of parameters that we can assign, so a point, linear, polar, XY, rotation, alignment, and so on. So all of these parameters can be assigned to blocks. We also have actions like move, scale, stretch, polar stretch, so on. And finally, we have parameter sets. So you can assign all of these parameter sets to your dynamic blocks. Now, once you're done editing your block, you can just close out the editor. Here, let me show you this dining set or dining table with chairs, where we can actually adjust the option with chairs or without chairs. So it's just an on-off parameter. We can also make the table smaller, which will in turn make less chairs. And then finally here we can adjust the number of chairs without changing the length of the table with this option there. So as I said, very versatile, very powerful. As you can see, GstarCAD is highly compatible with AutoCAD and offers great performance and a comprehensive set of CAD features. Besides that, it provides a wide range of powerful APIs such as these that allow you to customize, automate, and extend the functionality of the software to suit your specific needs. It is also budget-friendly with flexible licensing options, including a perpetual license. If you're interested in trying it out, GstarCAD offers a 1-month free trial. Click on the link below to visit their website. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to check out my website, balkanarchitect.com, for more Revit courses. There I have over 120 hours of content, and I'm adding more each week. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and also I've added a video over there that might interest you as well.